All right, all eyes on the tropics, and we're fairly certain that something's going to develop, but now the question is how strong and also where and when.
Yeah, the track. I mean, I think as far as the wind goes, Thursday would be the day that we would see the biggest impacts along the Florida Gulf Coast.
Will we definitely feel something?
You know, I think we'll at least get some peripheral impacts, even if the storm stays to the west of us, which, you know, at this point, most models keeping the storm to the west of us and over the central or eastern Gulf of Mexico. But, you know, these are such big systems. They have a large area of influence. And so we're going to want to really watch the track closely as this evolves and develops over the next couple of days. Right now, you can see all of the thunderstorms kind of gathering over the western Caribbean, close to Central America. Those development odds, if you're just waking up, have been spiking over the last couple of days, as we expected, 90% now over the next 7 days. But I think it's probable we're going to see a tropical system develop by the end of the day, and if not today, likely tomorrow. So just kind of want to talk about what we know and what we're still trying to answer with this system. So we know a tropical storm or hurricane will likely develop and move up into the Gulf of Mexico. Pretty high confidence in that scenario. The models have actually been trending stronger. The majority of the forecast models bring a hurricane into the eastern Gulf of Mexico as we get into the second part of the week. And impacts are likely along Florida's Gulf Coast. Most of the models are really honing in on the Florida Panhandle and the Big Bend. Again, the exact track could change though, and that kind of brings us to what we don't quite know yet, and that's the exact track of the storm. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that because we don't have a center of circulation that's well formed, the models aren't necessarily that great at projecting it into the future until there's actually a little spot they can kind of latch onto. So we're going to be fine-tuning that part of the forecast, which obviously is very important for us. The intensity and size at landfall is also something else that we're trying to answer. And then the specific impacts for Southwest Florida, and that will have a lot to do with the exact track and the strength of the storm as it moves by our coast. Now, interesting as we look at the American forecast model and the European forecast model side by side, so you can see the American model wants to bring the storm in closer to the Big Bend. There's Apalachicola, and this is just to the north of the Cedar Key area. Obviously, they've been hit the last couple years and this season. So this shows a stronger storm near the Florida Panhandle. The European, around the same time, shows the storm slightly farther to the west, but just I want you to see all the areas in green. That's that tropical moisture and potential rainfall. And even if a system stays that far west, we would still see some impacts from it, but hopefully not a direct impact. So how much rain are we talking about? Well, based on the storm's current schedule, and if it goes by what the models are suggesting right now, we would see anywhere from 3 to 5 inches over the next 7 days. So that can lead to some potential flooding. And with an onshore wind as the storm goes by, that can also lead to some coastal flooding and even some storm surge along our coast. We saw some of that with Tropical Storm Debbie. Right now, we're clear and quiet on the NBC2 First Alert live Doppler radar. Just have a little bit of rain back off to the east of us and over Lake Okeechobee right now. We're going to keep rain chances relatively low today. In the mid to upper levels of the atmosphere, we have some comparatively dry air, so we'll keep rain chances around 20 to 30%. So mostly sunny skies to start the morning, with a few pockets of rain developing over Lee, Charlotte, and Collier County by the afternoon and evening. Tuesday, another fairly quiet day with rain chances at 30%. And then it looks like on Wednesday, we'll start to see some of that tropical moisture move up from the Caribbean. And what that would mean for us is just more rain around on Wednesday. And then we'll see some of those rain bands potentially spiraling into Southwest Florida, depending on the proximity of the storm, how close it is to us. If it's closer, we'll obviously see more rain, more wind, but we're going to keep those rain chances pretty high on Thursday. And even through the end of the week, some of that tropical moisture will linger across Southwest Florida, and we could see that happen into the weekend as well, even as it continues to move northward. So you'll notice on your 7-day forecast, I've got Thursday kind of color-coded in red. We have a severe weather first alert because of those potential impacts. from a developing tropical storm or hurricane. Helene would be the next name on the list. So for these next couple days, just think about your plan. Make sure you have your hurricane kit stocked up just in case, and stay updated, well informed on the forecast, because once we hit late Wednesday into Thursday, we'll start to see some of that tropical rain moving into southwest Florida, which will stick around here through the second half of the week. We'll take a look at the latest spaghetti plots for this developing storm coming up in your first alert forecast ahead at 6 a.m.